Hi there. So, welcome to our open house yet again. Our open houses are a little bit different than other virtual open houses. For here, you will have the opportunity to hear from current and students and alumni, as well as some of our staff members, at what makes WHSAD unique. There will be time for you guys to answer some questions, to ask some questions, and if you have any other additional questions at any time, you may always post it in the chat. And we have plenty of students online who are willing to answer it for you. So, just without any further ado, let's get started. So, what is WHSAD? WHSAD is a small high school. We have approximately 600 students, about 150 for each grade. We have a unique curriculum that emphasizes architecture, design, and technology, to a point where we expect our students to not only graduate in 4 years, but to graduate with something called a career and technical education, a CTE endorsed diploma. We'll get about we'll talk about the requirements for that diploma in a moment. We are very quite proud of ourselves. We in earlier this fall, we were recognized by the National Department of Education. We are actually the only New York City high school to have earned a National Blue Ribbon Award in 2020, in recognition of the work that we've done with our students, as far as getting them to graduate and meeting their college and career goals. Now, a lot of what we're going to say in this open house, you may find at our website. I will share with you a little screenshot of that website. It's www.whsad.org. I will be typing it in the chat. It was also in the email that I sent you earlier today. And if you can see this, am I sharing the screen right now? No, I apologize. I did not share that tab. Here we go. Okay, now I am sharing the tab. I apologize. So yes, it's www.whsad.org. In here, you'll find not only open house materials that displays data about the school and anything you may need to know regarding enrollment. You can also view our facilities through self-guided or our guided virtual tour. So you get to see our school building. I'll just quickly show you how to navigate through these. It's completely self-guided. You can choose a room. You can click on different parts of a room or a classroom. So this is the classroom of a gentleman who you're going to hear speak tonight. His name is Mr. Codio, and you can explore and zoom in and see what our classrooms look like. So it's a sample of our classrooms, specifically the architecture rooms, and you get to guide yourselves to really get to know the school better. You can also see recent events. This was published earlier today. Part of the junior art and building and design classes, they created stop motion films to use, their imagination, and also the technical aspects of creating a stop motion film. And you will hear from some of the students who are also highlighted at the website later today. So as far as the CTE endorsement is concerned, I would like to introduce my colleague. She is the assistant principal of mathematics, science, health and physical education, as well as architecture. And she will talk to you a little bit more about school's 4-year sequence. Her name is Ms. Bruno. Hi, Ms. Bruno.
Hi, Ms. Basilio. Thank you for the introduction. As Ms. Basilio said, please check out our website for that virtual tour. I think it came out very nice, and it's a nice way for you to get an idea of what the school actually looks like, given the fact that we can't give physical tours right now. I just want to go over very briefly the 4-year architecture and design sequence. So year 1, which is grade 9, is the foundations of architecture and design. And it's taught by Mr. Geringer and Mr. Rodriguez. And Mr. Geringer is a licensed commercial artist, and Mr. Rodriguez is a licensed architect. And they work together to teach the course, which introduces students to basic elements and design principles and allows them to begin developing their skills in both mechanical drafting and computer-aided drafting and design. Year 2, which is grade 10, is taught by Miss Diaz Rivera, and she is a licensed architect. And the course further develops students' computer-aided drafting and design skills and begins to examine the more technical features of architectural structures and of simple structural elements such as beams, columns, trusses, and frames. So it's a lot of the technical stuff, not only with the computer-aided drafting and design, but also with the just kind of the real basics in architecture and understanding how a building stands. So that's year 2. Year 3 is architectural building and design. And this is taught by Miss Moose, who is a studio artist, and Mr. O'Brien, who's construction trades and electrician.
Ms. Bruno, I apologize. I think you accidentally got muted.
Yep. Okay, sorry about that. The last thing you heard.
Architectural trades, year 3.
Year 3. Okay, so you caught me quick. Good. So this is the third year is architectural building and design with Miss Moose and Mr. O'Brien. And the course focuses on developing skills in 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional transformations and fabrication skills at full scale. So kids not only design, but they also build. So they learn basic woodworking skills, model making, basic electrical wiring, shop safety, hand tool usage, 3D design, along with different materials like plaster, clay, metal, and wood, and just basic design concept development, which is very important just in general for this field. Year 4, grade 12, that's taught by Mr. Codio, who is a licensed architect, and he's also a fabulous teacher. You'll hear from him soon. And so it's really the capstone course for the 4-year sequence. Students continue to develop their computer-aided design skills, and they develop a senior project, typically working with our many partners that they have a choice of working with in order to figure out what type of project really speaks to them and would be best for their college or professional portfolio moving forward. So he'll speak to that more later. And for now, I'll just turn it back over to Ms. Basilio so I don't talk too much, because there's a lot of other people ahead of me that want to let you know how wonderful our school is. So thanks, Ms. Basilio. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. My email is bruno@whsad.org, or you could just throw a question in the chat. Thanks so much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Bruno. And I apologize for that little blip. So as far as the data is concerned, two things that I really want to talk about the school. One is depending on admissions. We are a completely unscreened program. This means that we don't look at report cards. We don't look at attendance data. We don't look at portfolios. We do not interview. We have a program that bases its admissions solely upon the size of our school, which is 150 seats with over 2,000 applicants each year. Now, because of that, we do recommend that if you do want to be part of our school, to rank us number 1. And that is actually the best indicator on whether or not you are interested in this program. So we believe that no matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, and no matter if you are committed to attending our school, you will succeed. So what does that mean as far as data is concerned? Since 2010, we've had a 4-year graduation rate of 90% or higher as an unscreened program. And since 2017, so for the last 5 school years, we've had a 4-year graduation rate of 95% or higher. This is equally important because last year in June 2020, we had a 96% four-year graduation rate. Even when schools were closed in March, our staff and our team made a very, very important decision of holding live classes in order to keep kids engaged throughout that entire spring. We did not just post work in Google Classroom and expect kids to log on. We held classes live. And because of that, our seniors actually wound up graduating on time and we were able to keep our students engaged. In fact, Ms. Bruno did discuss the career and technical education examination. Out of our graduates, 98% of our graduates completed that technical assessment before they graduated in June. And that's really, really important because we were able to keep kids engaged. We were able to get past some of the technology hurdles to really get them to get that AutoCAD certification. So we're really proud of our June graduates for achieving this. As far as freshmen is concerned, because the focus was not just solely on 12th graders, I apologize. It's for every single child in our school, all 600 of them enrolled. As of last year, 96% of our freshmen earned enough credits to be on track for graduation. And for us, that only means that they passed every single class since the fall of that semester. So they did not fail a single class. They did not have to go to summer school, which is really important because during the summer is when we really amped up the number of offerings, the number of internships, and other work-based opportunities. Apologize, let me just let this person through, and other opportunities that's going to be presented for you. So I'm going to stop talking about this data and I'm going to start introducing some of our students. And I'm going to introduce them in the order of seniority. All right. So the first student that I'll be introducing is a freshman. So you get to understand, again, what opportunities are offered for freshmen, even while in remote learning. And I'd like to introduce a young lady. Her name is Jennifer Segundo, and she'll discuss her experience with our school so far. Hi, Jennifer.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jennifer. I'm a freshman at WHSAD. I participated in the Summer Bridge program. This program is very fun to be in. This helps you get ready for what you're going to learn throughout the years that you're going to be at WHSAD. You get along with your teachers and classmates. Your classmates that you meet in the program are the same ones that you see in some of your classes, even your teachers. So you as well get really along with your teachers and you get really confident to talk to your teacher or reach out to your teacher when you need help. You get more, even though I'm just a freshman at WHSAD, I am really involved in the school activities like the makerspace that we get to do projects with a type of group and get to experience what it's like to work with a real company. It's been going very smooth throughout my year. I was out this year, even though it's all in remote. And I really enjoyed this school, and I would recommend it to everyone who wants to be or follow their career as an architect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. Next young person that I'd like to introduce to you is now a sophomore. He has been part of the Summer Bridge program and even before then, and has taken advantage of a lot of the opportunities that were offered in the school, and it shows from his excellence in academics. His name is Matthew Z. Hi, Matthew.
Hi there. So I am Matthew Z, and I am a sophomore at WHSAD. And I would quickly like to talk about the amazing opportunities that this school offers. So I'll quickly talk about last year. And when I first got into this school, I was very excited. And from the first moment that I stepped in, I knew that this was the school for me because it honestly felt like home. And after that, once I got settled in, I got the amazing opportunity to participate in the ACE program, which I was partnered with a company called WSP, who has a office building next to Penn Station. And I was able to work with them and really experience how architecture really can it's not something that you can just learn at school, but I really got to see how it can affect our day-to-day lives and just how thinking about architecture can influence what like we can build in the future. And to this day, like even in this tough time during COVID, I'm still in the ACE program. This is my second year. I'm currently with a company called Gensler, and I'm working on different projects with another group. And I just really like the program because it's able to make really good connections with like mentors, and I was able to make really good friends last year as well. These are only some of the amazing opportunities that the school offers, and I have still yet to discover more. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthew. And another student that I'll introduce to you now, moving up in grades, is someone who's really taken advantage of a lot of our after-school programs. So hopefully we'll all be back in person very soon, especially with the vaccines, being distributed. So this young lady, her name is Janet Martinez, and I'm actually going to present a PowerPoint she created regarding her community service activities at WHSAD. Hi, Janet.
Hello. Good afternoon, everyone. So, my name is Janet, and I'm a senior at WHSAD. So, throughout my years of high school, I have involved in myself in many new opportunities like community service. So, today I'll be talking about several activities I have done at community service. So, one activities I have done is the Little Free Library. So, for this activity, we constructed and painted like small wooden boxes to create the little library. This gave, the community an easier access to for the books for them to enjoy. While doing this, I really enjoyed engaging with my classmates, friends, and our community police officers. The next activity is the senior center. This activity made me feel thrilled because I was able to interact and talk to the seniors. I was satisfied to know that they had a smile on their faces when we gave them the flowers that we made for them. So for the next activity, finally, this activity, we cleaned up the park and close to our school, and we raked leaves and put them like in the trash bag, and we helped our community so much. Me personally, I think that I enjoyed helping my community because doing community service has helped me learn communication skills and leadership. I also learned that I can help my community in numerous ways. Doing community service is important because it connects us to the community by improving and helping out. Thank you. Any questions?
And at this time, does anyone have any questions that they would like to ask on the chat? So I see that there are some questions regarding if we have a uniform policy. We do not have uniforms in the school. We have an informal school shirt Fridays, but we do follow, certain the usual Department of Education standards as far as dress is concerned. And also on certain field trips, the next big presenter will be presenting it in a moment. We do encourage that students dress business casual. So opportunities, right? We really appreciate it when kids take advantage of what these opportunities are given by the school. And one of the biggest opportunities, and that's why it's really important, not only for our 4-year graduation rate, making sure kids graduate on time, but also to make sure that they don't go to summer school. So we want kids to pass every single class the first time they're receiving it every single year and avoid the summer, because we have something called an extensive work-based learning program. So since the summer of 2019, over 250 of our students participated in our own school-based summer youth employment program. These are paid internships. So instead of applying for summer youth employment and going through the lottery system, our students actually apply through us, where we have an allocation in the summer of 2019, about 200 seats, and in the summer, just past summer, 50 seats. Now, the 50 is actually a pretty big number. If you heard from press conferences, the mayor actually stopped summer youth employment program for lack of budgeting and because of COVID last summer. DYCD did not conduct SYEP over the course of the summer. Our students and our partners rallied well enough that we were able to secure 50 remote internships for our students this summer, and they got paid over the summer. So that 50 number was really great because it entailed extensive lobbying from our partners and from our students. And that actually is a big deal because it means that our students, after interning in their various jobs, actually left a very, very, very good influence upon their employers. This about 2 weeks ago, 45 of our students started the internship portion of what's called the Work, Learn, Grow program. The Work, Learn, Grow program is a program for juniors and seniors to expand on their resume and learn a very, very important skill. And that skill is being able to work while being in school. The Work, Learn, Grow program invites students to take a CUNY course and earn 2 CUNY credits. They did that in November and December of this past year. And then after passing those CUNY course credits, they are invited, and they just started about 2 weeks ago, 200 paid internship hours at $15 an hour in the spring. Very important. We expect all of our students to not only graduate with CTE endorsement, but also have a working resume and know what it's like to go to work and have that type of character and build that type of character so that once they do move on to college and beyond, they know how to find a career and hold on to it. Sadly, so many young people out there graduate high school, then they graduate college, they receive their bachelor's degree, but they don't have a resume. They've never worked a day in their lives before, and now they're confused at why they're not finding those good paying jobs that college has promised. That's a disservice to our young people, and that's the reason why we do offer that. So one particular student who has taken advantage of a lot of the work-based learning opportunities is a senior. His name is Matthew, and I'm inviting him to speak next. Hi, Matthew.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. Hi, everybody. I'm Matthew Luciano, and I'm a senior at WHSAD. So the good thing, my 4 years in the school, I really enjoyed it. It's felt like my second family because when I was first a freshman, I believe Matthew Z was talking about, and Jennifer, I believe her name is, was talking about the summer bridge program. I was actually one of the first incoming freshmen at that time when the program had first started. So that's where I met Mr. Codio, the senior architect teacher, and Mr. Rodriguez, the freshman architect teacher. So that's where I actually first met him. And it was a summer program, so it was about 6 weeks. And they was just teaching us the basics on how to use AutoCAD and Rhinoceros 3D. And the good thing about that program is that I was able to communicate with upperclassmen. So by the time I started my freshman year, I already had friends that were sophomores and juniors. So it's just a good way for freshmen to interact with upperclassmen and not be so like nervous when they attend school. So I thought that was really good. And another opportunity about that is that Mr. Rodriguez and Mr. Codio are able to see kids' potential. So when I was there, they saw my potential. They saw that I was able to do the work and I was able to go do more than what I was capable of. So the summer going into my sophomore year, that summer, they actually offered me a job mentoring the summer bridge program. So I was actually teaching the kids of the class of 2022. So I taught them, and by the time they went in for their freshman year, some of them knew me, and we just like bonded with each other. So that's a good thing about the program, and the more opportunities that Mr. Cody and Mr. Rodriguez saw, they gave me more opportunities. So they actually upgraded me going into my junior year. So the next summer, Mr. Cody offered me an internship at an actual architecture firm called Heritage Equity Partners. So I was actually working as a assistant intern. So I was interested. The good thing about that program, about that internship, was that it was my first job in an office setting. So I actually got to work with actual architects and work and see what they do as in their daily work lives. So that was a good thing. And another thing about working with architects is that we offer, Matthew Z also mentioned it, the ACE mentorship program. For 4 years now, I've been a part of Team 6, which is the Gensler office. It's a architect space near Times, a few blocks away from Times Square. So I've been there for the past 4 years, and I've really enjoyed it. I've really learned a lot. We got to go on some projects that we actually got to go to some construction sites and see what it's like for the people to construct the buildings. So we actually got a first-hand view, and that was really interesting. And we actually work with other architects as well, so they come and they mentor us. So we've learned things such as engineering, acoustics, like how we block sounds from room to room, and that was good. And the good thing about being there for the consistent 4 years is that when you hit your senior year, sorry, they actually offer you scholarships for college scholarships, and even sometimes they offer you summer jobs, and that was a good thing too. But now from doing all of that, and I've also been doing it for a while already. I've been a part of Makerspace. Before it was called Architecture Club, but the more funding we got, the more opportunities the club gave us. So we're actually working on some architecture projects at the moment, and that's how much we've developed. That's how much I've developed since freshman year, and I think that's really good for myself and the school. And now, because of all the stuff, all the experience that I've gained, right now I'm currently in a program called Co-op Tech. So that program is a trade school, which the school offers as a program. So right now, I spend half of the mornings. I spend mornings at WHSAD, and the rest of my day I go to Co-op Tech. So at Co-op Tech, there's different programs such as AutoCAD designing, welding, and electrical, and more things, more of a trade business. So right now I'm doing advertising and design, where next week I have to take the exam. I'm working on my certification in graphic designing, which I will also continue as a major in college, because I would like to double major in architecture and graphic design. So that's what I'm going for at the moment. So what they advertising and design, they're gonna currently give me 3 certifications in InDesign, Illustrator, and Photoshop. And Mr. Kessner, if you will, he's gonna post a link to a column that I just wrote explaining what I do at Co-op Tech. And I don't want to talk too much, so I would like to hand it down to Ms. Wilson.
Great. Thanks, Matthew. Hi, everyone. My name is Ms. Wilson, and I am the Work-Based Learning Coordinator at Architecture and Design. I'm also one of our senior math teachers. Okay, there we go. Let me just get my slide up here. Here we go. So you've heard a little bit about some of the activities that our students are involved in. I'm going to talk a little bit more in depth about some of our work-based learning opportunities for students. One of the most important things about work-based learning is that it allows students to gain insight into these different career options. Presumably, students are here right now in this session because they have an interest in something related to architecture, but there's a lot of things that architecture is related to and involved with. Architecture could be designing buildings, it could be landscape architecture, it could be interior design, it could be industrial design. Maybe you discover that you really like engineering or construction management or graphics. So lots of opportunities, and we really want students to be able to explore those different career paths over their 4 years at WHSAD. One of the other things that's really important about work-based learning is all the other skills that go along with the world of work, things like writing a resume, having a job interview, dressing professionally or dressing appropriately for the workplace. If you're in an office, you're going to dress very differently than somebody who's working in the field. And some of those skills are going to stay with students even if they end up in a completely different field. And one of the last things about work-based learning that's very important to me as a math teacher is helping students recognize that what's happening in class is relevant in the world of work. and that it's what they're learning in class has value. It's very hard sometimes for students to draw those connections on their own, but when they can take what they're learning in class and immediately head on out to the workplace and apply those skills, it really reinforces that for them. So I'm going to highlight a few of the opportunities that we have. I don't have time to talk about all of them because we'd be here till next week. Mr. Kessner will probably drop some links in the chat while I'm talking, and there's a lot of information on our website about some of these opportunities as well. The first thing I'm going to talk about is design challenges. These are opportunities for students to tackle a project that is in partnership with a company or an organization, and allow them to sort of see the whole design process. On the left, we have some of our students from the class of 2019 who were involved in some of the architecture projects. On the top, we have Melina, who was working with the Department of Buildings. Every year, we do a project in February on Black History Month, and that year, the project was about the historic jazz clubs of New York City. There's also been projects about Black architects in New York and other projects in the city. The bottom is Darielle, who was working on a project with a local organization called the Bushwick Generator, and Mr. Codio will talk more about that later. On the right is Chandler, who was part of the first group that did our project with the School of Visual Arts. It was a design incubator where the students sort of looked at their lives, at their communities, and thought about what is something that is missing that I can design and contribute, and sort of learn the entire design, packaging, branding, advertising type process, marketing. How would they sell their product? They got to go to places like Kickstarter and the Museum of Modern Art to learn about that. All of these are ways to help students recognize problem solving and how they can use their skills to solve those problems. They're often very working collaboratively with other students. And the big part is they're also getting mentorship from professionals who are coming in and giving them feedback and critique, not only on their designs and their projects, but also on their presentations, teaching them about elevator pitches and PowerPoints or Prezis or other types of things that they can use to showcase their work. Mentorship from professionals is a really big part of work-based learning and interacting with professionals. You've heard a little bit about ACE mentorship from some of the students already. I always recommend ACE mentorship, especially in 9th grade. It's a very small time commitment compared to some of the other projects. It's one afternoon a week. Students work in teams on these projects. As Matthew said, sometimes it can lead to jobs, sometimes it leads to college scholarships or other internships. It's a great way to begin to look at these problems and, again, work with professionals who are alongside the students the whole time, giving them feedback about their projects. These are our site visits, essentially field trips, where students are able to go and visit work sites around New York City. One of the great things about our partners is that we're able to sort of go behind the scenes in a lot of places. They're not, if we're going to a museum, we're not going and getting a tour of the artwork. We're going and seeing the building with the architect, or maybe with the facility manager, the person who is in charge of the spaces, and talking about some of those issues. So these are some photos from some trips over the recent years. On the top left, you may recognize the TWA terminal at JFK. We were one of the last groups that got to be in there before they started the renovation to turn it into what is now the TWA Hotel. The students that we got to take, they got to spend the whole afternoon with the gentleman who was the vice president of the Port Authority in charge of the project. And he got to talk to the students about the project, about the challenges of doing this huge construction project in the middle of JFK Airport, about what it means to preserve a historic building while also updating it for the 21st century. And he also talked about his own career path and sort of how he got to where he is, which is a great thing for students to learn, because a lot of times these professionals, it's not always a direct line from one to the other. They take a circuitous route, and it helps the students see how everything is connected. Same on the right, the gentleman in the orange was the lead engineer for the restoration of St. Patrick's Cathedral in Manhattan, who got to talk to the students again about a restoration project in the middle of Manhattan, very busy place, couldn't shut it down. People had to be able to come and go. How do you ensure that it's safe? a great opportunity. On the bottom are 2 visits from the summer of 2019, part of the SYEP program. These were visits that students got to go on. On the left, they're visiting a green roof in Manhattan. There's a big push in the architectural world these days for sustainability, certainly here in New York, where there are new rules about building sustainability. So they got to see what that is like in some places. We also have students who have worked with the Department of Buildings on sustainability projects. On the right, students are in the model making workshop at an architecture firm. At an architecture firm, a lot of the people are not just architects. They are model designers, or they are interior designers, or they do marketing. So there's a lot of ways to work in the architecture field that are not directly architecture work, but the related options. And it's great that the students can see that. Our workplace exploration, these are some opportunities where students get to partner with local organizations and local companies where they get sort of really in-depth knowledge of a workplace. Architectural Grill is a manufacturing company in Gowanus, and they make large metal grills, the kind of things that would cover your HVAC system. We've been working with them since 2014. The students get to go, they do an after-school project where they get to do the whole process from design, which is done in AutoCAD, through the printing in these large printing presses that print large sheets of metal, to fabrication, to the finishing. They do the research. They get to make their own designs. As you can see in the top, they're holding smaller ones. This is one from, I think, last year, this large sheet that the 4 boys are holding. We've had students who have interned at Architectural Grill over the years, and we even had a student who was offered a job after graduation. He interned in the spring of his senior year. They offered him a job, and he worked there for a few years while getting his associate's degree. Another workplace exploration, this is our partnership through an organization called Powerhouse Environmental Arts. They have connected us with 2 craft shops, Makeville, which is a woodworking studio, and Kingsland, which is a screen printing shop. And these are after-school classes that students get to take. They're usually somewhere between 6 and 10 weeks, depending on the project, where the students get to do design and make their own projects. At woodworking, they learn all the different tools. They learn the different types of wood, the different hand tools and power tools and stains. You can see Nicholas is here. He's working on a stool. Up top, they were doing lamps, and then they also got to do the wiring. At the bottom is screen printing, where they get to come up with their own designs to put on fabric or posters. And these are great opportunities for students interested in the hands-on craft of these. We were supposed to start in 2020, so we're hoping maybe later this year or next year we will also have a partnership with a ceramic studio for students who are interested in that. And all of this is leading to those internships that Ms. Basilio alluded to. We are very fortunate to have wonderful internship partners who love having our students either during the school year or in the summer. And these are opportunities for students to spend large chunks of time at these work sites. These are all photos of our partnership with Greenwood Cemetery. They are one of our original partners starting in 2009 with our internship program. Originally, it was always students working with the crew, as you can see on the right, doing monument restoration. So there's work with material science, dealing with the different types of stone. There's physics involved. You have to build these pulley systems to lift these very heavy stones. There's some landscaping involved. There's also a lot of history involved. Greenwood is almost 200 years old. So we also have students who work in the historical archives office, as Andrew's doing in the top left, dealing with the old documents, the old photographs, research. And at the bottom left is an older photo, but it's from one of our interview days. One of the great things about our internships is that the students actually do go through an interview process also. So they really get to meet their potential supervisors, just as they would if they were, applying for a full-time job. And they get to start that process very early on, for getting a job. A few other internships that I'll highlight. On the top left here is Joseph, who interned at the Brooklyn Borough Hall Office of Topography, updating the maps for the borough of Brooklyn, sort of the ongoing internship because there's always work to be done to update the maps. On the bottom is Jonathan, who interned at Silman, which is a structural engineering firm in Manhattan, got to go on some great site visits and sit in some project management meetings. Philman has recently done some work restoring the New York Public Library branch on 42nd Street and Carnegie Hall. And on the right is Lewis, who interned at a local shop in Williamsburg called Aurora Lampworks, where they do restoring and fabricating of historic lamps and metal pieces. And it's a great, again, a nice opportunity for students who really want to be hands-on. We've had some students there the last few years. They get a great opportunity, not just in the metal work, but then also for the students who have interest in electrical work, because they get to do some of that as well. A few other opportunities I'll mention quickly. Construction Skills is a pre-apprenticeship program for students interested in the building trades who want to go into the unionized trades. And that's in the senior year. Pratt Young Scholars is a portfolio development program for students who are interested in developing their portfolios to apply to college. PTEISP Internships is another internship program through the Department of Education. You've already heard a little bit about SYEP and Work, Learn, Grow and the community service. And the fact is, this list grows all the time. We are constantly adding new opportunities for students. It's about making sure that they have experience in their chosen field. I'll stop talking and turn it back over to Ms. Basilio.
And thank you so much, Ms. Wilson, for highlighting really the importance of, the opportunities that are offered beyond the classroom that we do here at WHSAD. Our last group of speakers is going to talk about the architecture program in more detail. I'll start with the gentleman who was actually whose classroom you saw earlier when I went through the virtual walkthrough. He is the senior architecture teacher, and his name is Mr. Codio. Hi, Mr. Codio.
Hi, everybody. You can hear me, Miss Basilio?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So I'm going to keep it very short because I have a phenomenal alumni that's going to speak to you. And I've been having a little connection issue. And he could actually fill in the spot if I get cut off. So on my right, I'm just going to go straight to, like, Ms. Wilson mentioned all the internship opportunities that we were able to actually give to our students. And our students able to work at these firms, these companies. So I'm going to talk briefly about the softwares which make everything happen in the program and how everything ties in with the 4-year sequence, what Ms. Bruno was talking about earlier, our assistant principal. So these are a few of our softwares that I'm not going to say they're for the school, but they're for the students. So in other words, every program you see on here is free for every student that goes to WHSAD to be able to download on their computer. And they'll have it until they graduate WHSAD, so they could work at home, especially during these times that it's sad to say we have to be like hybrid or at home sessions because of what's going on. But the students have this opportunity to actually work with these programs while we're teaching it in class as well, so they have enough time. So some of the programs such as Rhinoceros, 3D Max, AutoCAD, Fusion 360, and as well as the whole Adobe Suite collection. So this is one of the things that make our students have the opportunities that they do have freshman year all the way to senior year, and as well as until they turn actually 24, because through St. Nick's Alliance, the students could work till they're 24 years of age. And you saw some of the virtual tour. I recommend go check out the virtual tour. So most of these technology, all these technology are in the classrooms. One of them is in the freshman classroom, which is the laser engraver, and as well as the 3D printer. But most of these are accessible to the students. So a lot of times you go to major firms or colleges, students are not allowed to actually interact right away with these machines. But for us, we push them. Let's start the project. Even from the summer bridge program that we tell the students, you have a design in mind, let's create it, let's design it, let's 3D print it, and let's manufacture it. Let's see how it could actually happen. And through the help of our many community partners, we are able to actually give these students the opportunity. So that's one thing that I must say that has given the students all the opportunities that they have with all these various firms and companies. So now I'll go to the next slide. So sorry about that. So once again, Wilson mentioned some of the Black History projects and as well as the design projects. This is where it happens, inside the classroom, where the students are actually working. This is their curriculum. They have a design idea in mind. Our community partner says, we have a project for you, and we give it to the students. This is their curriculum that they actually give to us, and we actually set up, because my main component is to teach them the architectural styles, as well as help them critique and do work on presentation, while we have people such as smallpox, people from heritage, people from HWKN come in and give us this project, and we actually take them in and actually implement it, and our students gets involved, especially senior year, where they have a selection of over 10 different projects to choose from, so that they could work with the community partners and give them the networking skills that that's needed once they graduate. So this is another project. Sorry about that. This is another project that we work each year with the Department of Building, which is a Black History Month project, where students were able to actually design buildings made by various Black architects, and as well as use the machines, the technology that we have at our school to showcase. And some of these students realized that they could make actually a living after WHSAD, and because people want this. Like, oh my gosh, you're able to do a laser grid, you're able to 3D print, you're able to model in AutoCAD. And these are the skill sets that's needed nowadays. And once again, check out the WHSAD.org. And this image shows like some of our community partners while we have our sessions in the classroom, and we also go on the job site visits. So pretty much from the left to the right. So we have working on projects with the whole entire school, because we have 2 other schools that's with us, but we work with them as well. We open our doors not only to middle schoolers, high schoolers, but even elementary. So any project that we might be working on, we want to encourage each and every one of you to take part of it. So for those of you who would like to be part of the after school program, feel free to contact either Basilio, Ms. Chu, to get involved, because we have a program, Makerspace, and we invite all to actually come out and see how we work after school with our students and with our community partners as well. And these are just a few projects that we are currently working on right now. And once again, one of the greatest things about working with these community partners, they actually give back. And to be honest, I want our students to be rewarded. We want them to be rewarded for what they do. They work late hours, sometimes 8, 9 o'clock p.m. after school, working on these projects. And we want to make sure that they understand that hard work pays off, literally. And that's one of the reasons why we are able to hire a lot of our students who do work, learn, grow, and other internship opportunities, and work with us with these projects from the age of from junior year all the way to senior year. And during the summertime, they're able to have an internship as well with SYEP. So one of the biggest questions that's asked before I give it off to Vicente, which is like a son to me, do we focus only on architecture and design? And I tell them, our school's called architecture and design. And design is pretty much the umbrella, and architecture falls underneath it, or vice versa. So in other words, we focus on the building components. We also focus on the design components, where students can actually, this was one of the projects below, where it was once on this island, Broadway musical. They came to us through the help of our APs and principal. We was able to actually land this project, and our students loved this, to be able to build a mural on Broadway for this Broadway musical. So it was an amazing opportunity. On the left, you see our assistant principal, Ms. Bruno, and as well a phenomenal junior teacher getting involved and just putting some together mural for Broadway, and to be able to have our students be part of that and put that on their portfolio. And last but not least, I mentioned portfolio because you get to build that starting from the bridge program. So before you begin your freshman year of WHSAD, you start developing and building a portfolio. And that's one of the biggest aspects when college is looking at, jobs are looking at. And that's one thing that a lot of people don't have that our schools have, to be able to start gathering and building a portfolio from freshman year. So with that being said, I'm gonna give it off to a phenomenal individual. I'm so proud of him, Vicente Gomez.
Hey everyone, thank you, Father. Codio is like a second father to me. Just wanted to throw that out there. My name is Vicente Gomez. I am currently in my last semester at Pace University, majoring in computer science with a double minor in cybersecurity and criminal justice. I am proud to say that I am class of 2017 from WHSAD, the best class, just to throw that out there. But the classes that came afterwards, they're close. They're close. And it felt like yesterday that I was at WHSAD, just like walking around, going to Codio's class, going to Ms. Diaz's class. And it's just crazy to think that that was 4 years ago. And when I was choosing my high school, and even I had the same mentality when I was choosing my college, is that when you're choosing a school, it's like choosing a pair of shoes, right? My pair of shoes won't be the same pair of shoes that you wear. And I wanted to tell you guys where the pair of shoes that I chose, where that got me. And even though I didn't directly go into the field of architecture, which is what I studied throughout my 4 years at WHSAD, the countless overnight, the night stays that I would stay with Codio doing open houses, all the projects that I did with him, all the trips that I would go on with. I did the architecture club with Codio. I did the electrical club with Mr. O'Brien. I was in ACE, the mentorship program for all 4 years of WHSAD. Everything that I did at WHSAD directly transferred over to my time at university, and has led me to the point where I am now, where I'm about to graduate in May. And now I'm looking for a job. So Codio and Mr. Cornell, if you guys are out there, I'm looking for a job, let me know. But WHSAD has taught me many things. And if I were to go back in time and make the same decision, if I were to go back and make another decision, I wouldn't change anything that I did. WHSAD was the best choice that I've made. And without it, I don't think I would be where I am today. And I was proud to say I got the Advanced Regents Diploma as well as the CTE endorsement. But just to throw it out there, one of the best things that I still have to this day, if you guys could see, I got the 2017 Tug of War Championship, where I beat Codio at Tug of War during one of the sports competitions that we have. And I still have it hanging up on my wall today. So just shout out to Mr. Codio. Thank you. And if you guys have any other questions, Ms. Basilio, Mr. Codio, you can give out my email to any students who would want.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vicente, and thank you, Mr. Codio, Ms. Wilson. And I tell you, while we don't push all of our students to take architecture, we do treat architecture and design as a tool to help kids really learn not only just the general design skills and general science skills, but also problem solving, what to do when your building isn't standing up, right? And that translates to a lot of things in life. And I'm so proud to have welcomed Vicente into our school. And 2017 was a really, really good year. You're right. It was actually the first graduating class that had over a 95% graduation rate, and we haven't looked back since. So you guys set the trend there. Without any further ado, the last person you're going to be that would be doing a presentation this evening is our parent coordinator, Miss Chu. I will be typing her email address in the chat, as well as mine. And she just wants to talk to you guys about high school applications and enrollment. And the truth of the matter is the application is set to open on the My Schools portal on Tuesday the 19th. So she has some information about that. Hi, Miss Chu. Miss Chu, you're still on mute.
Okay. Hi, how are you? Hi, thank you everybody for coming to our virtual open house. I understand, this year is going to be a little bit more challenging for many of the parents with the pandemic, and we haven't been able to offer the in-school open houses as usual. But I want to keep reminding parents that, if you want your child to come to our school, keep us in mind, rank us as highly as possible, preferably number one. Like Ms. Basila said before, we have like 160, 150 openings each year, and we have a big number of applicants. But keep in mind that because this year is a lottery system, if by any chance that your child doesn't get into our school, and you really, this is the school of the choice, please keep my contact number available. I mean, reach out to me. We can talk about it. I will have a wait list going on, once the application process is completed. And I can tell you that last year, we had, after they assigned all the students to all the high school, we had quite a few parents who actually came back to us. And I would say we had between anywhere 15 to 20 students who actually got into our school, even though they were not first assigned to our program. So keeping that in mind, like I said, if there's any question that we didn't answer during the session, feel free to contact me. I'm available. You can email me. You can call me at the school number. I'll put my phone number on the chat as well. But once again, thank you for coming, and thank you for all the presenters and all the parents to join us for this meeting. Thank you.
And thank you so much. I will stay here in the chat in case anybody has any lingering questions. Otherwise, have a wonderful evening, and we hope to see you in September. Take care. Thank you.